Rabbi,
Hello, Walter.
how are you?
Good.
What's going on?
Everything's good.
Okay. Nice Gemara now. Come talking about Prusbul.
Right. We're going to La Costa tomorrow just for a convention. Just for 2 days. We'll be back before Shabbos.
Okay, we're giving Kiddush on the Shabbos. So.
Oh, what's the occasion?
Yeah, no, I have Yotzat for my late father on Friday.
Oh,
What time they daven Isha Tefillah?
7:30 chakras.
No, not Shachas. Mincha Mariv.
Mincha Mariv tomorrow night will be 7:55.
Oh, okay. I got to go to Mariv over there.
Yeah.
Or maybe. Okay.
Just tell Larry Eisenberg that you're a chiyuv.
Yeah, I know. I don't have to worry. If Frank is there, the rabbi.
Yeah, Frank. Rabbi's not there, but Frank is there.
Yeah, I'll tell him. We're giving Kiddush Shabbos. Tammy's giving Kiddush. Botnick's giving Kiddush.
What is Tammy giving Kiddush for?
Because Esti's mother also she had Yotzat this week also, so we weren't here to give. Esti's mother and my late father died on the same English date and were buried on the same English date. They just have a few days apart. She's Erev Rosh Chodesh and my father's Dalet Tammuz. That's crazy, no? That they it's a very crazy situation.
Right.
All right.
Okay, we're on Lamed Vav Amud Aleph 36. So we said that the Kohen can make a neder when he's doing the avoda. Who, if he married a apostledic woman, so he makes a neder to restrict hana, and he can immediately do the avoda. So we asked, let him why must be he doesn't have to detail the neder because otherwise he could go to a chacham and have the chacham matter it. So the Gemara answered to Madrina le Barabi. He made it publicly. There's actually a machlokas whether a neder made barabim publicly has a foreigner. It's a good answer for those that say there's no afar. He could still go to a chacham. So there's something called aldas rabbi. The madrinan lay aldas rabbi. Like on Yom Kippur when we say aldas akol, like kol nidre. Damra meimer hilchasa, and afilu mandamar neder shuda barabim yesh lafara. Even according to the mandamar that says if a person made a neder in public, there's a farah. But if you use the language aldas rabim, ain't lawful. So the Kohen made such a neder, so there can't be hatorah. Hanimi ledvar rishus, aval ledvar mitzvah yesh lo hafarah. That means even a neder made aldas rabim, if you've got to get rid of the neder in order to perform a mitzvah, you can be made for it. Listen to this. Kiyahu makri dardiki. There was a malamed, cheder malamed, the adre ravach aldas rabim, David Pasha Bianuki. He was beating up the kids. He was punishing them too much. So Ravacha made a neder aldas rabim that he can't teach anymore. But ahadre Ravina matered his neder. Shlo yishtakach the daikavose. There was no malamed that could teach as well as he. They brought him back. Then the Mishnah said, "Va'idim choismin ala get and they tikuna olam." The Eidim signed the get. What kind of tikuna olam?
Maybe that malamed was that's a crazy thing to be mafia that neder. You see that malamdim that were tough or good malamdim.
Right.
I think I had that malamed. I think I had
that. I remember each.
Rashi
you deserved it.
Rashi said,
maybe too.
Choiften yoyser midai. He had a ruler, and he gave patch. Today he'd be arrested. So the Gemara says, Tikkun ha'olam, which implies a rabbinic gzeira, d'oraisahu. To have Eidim sign on a star is written in Psukim. Tichsiv, it says in Yirmiyah, v'chasuv b'sefer v'chasom v'ha'eid Eidim, which implies that it's not just a Tikkun ha'olam. Amar Rabbi lo tzricha, according to Rabbi Lazar. Sha'amar Eidim Asiri Karti. We had our machlokas between Rabbi Lazar and Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Lazar says all we need is Eidim witnessing the get being given. And it's not, we don't really need Eidim to sign on the get. However, because of Tikkun Rabbanon, Eidi Chasinim, they Tikkun ha'olam. Even according to Rabbi Lazar, you needed to have Eidim sign. Why? The Zimna Demaisi Sari, the witnesses will die. They go to China. And someone claims the get is not a good get. The Eidim are not with us who can certify the get. So if you have signatures where people recognize and can be Makayim the signature in Bezdin, you can certify the get. Rav Yosef Amar Afilu Tema Rav Meir. The halacha of Tikkun Olam isn't just according to Shita Rav Lazar who holds Eidim Mesira Karti, but even according to Rav Meir, that the signatures of the Eidim is what gives the get koyach. However, the new Tikkun was that Hitzkinu Shia Eidim Afarshin Shmoseim Begittin. They had to write their full name. Ploini Bas Ploini. Ploini Ben Ploini. Mibnei Tikkun ha'olam. Kedetanya. Brishona Yekosev Rak Ani Ploini Chasamti Eid. I, Chaim Yankel, signed as a name. So Im Ksav Yoda Yotze B'Mokom Acher, if we have another star with his signature, and we can compare them, and we get a handwriting expert, we say, oh, it's the same guy, then the get is kosher. But the imlav, if you can't certify his signature, because we don't have other documents, puzzle, even though he might be a perfectly good egg. And then the women are going to be agunos. So Amra Gamliel Takonik Doli Skinu, that they have to write Chaim Yankel Ben Elazar and other from the town of such and such. So we can say who the Eidim are to be able to easier certify it. Since he didn't detail his name fully, Rashi says, we didn't know to put out a call to other people to come in to certify this person. Rather than put out a call for people who knew him, they put out a call for other staros that they could compare his signature. Maybe they didn't have it. Uvisimana lo. So that people used to have a logo, not just a name, but a logo. So what's wrong with the logo? V'hayem Rav Tzayir Kavra. Rav, his logo was a fish. He actually didn't sign his name. He drew a fish. Rav Chanina Tzayir Charusa. He drew the picture of a palm branch. Rav Chizda wrote a samech, obviously because of Chizda. Rav Oshaya wrote an ayin, because there's an ayin in Rav Oshaya's name. Rabbi Ravuna Tzayir Makoisa. A sail, a boat. So why couldn't they get away without signature? Shani Rabbanon Dibki and Simenayu. Everyone knew their Simonim. But Mikar B'Mayav Kinu. How did they spread knowledge of their Simonim? Bidiski, letters, correspondence. And it became known that these Chachamim signed with this logo, and therefore it worked on a star as well. Then the Mishnah said, Hillel Hiskin Pruzbul. So we know there's a din that when Shemitah rolls around and somebody loaned money to somebody, the guy doesn't have to pay back. There's Shemitah's Ksofim. The Shemitah wipes that away. But if you have a Pruzbul, Eina Mishame, the debt remains and he has to pay back whenever he's supposed to pay back. This is one of the takanas that Hillel was misaken. They saw that people were not lending money, especially right around Shemitah, because they were concerned that the lover wouldn't pay back the debt. And then, overall, the Torah specifically in Dvarim says, don't be a Rasha. Shemitah is going to come by, and you won't loan money. So, Ahmad v'hiskin pruzbul.
Why doesn't he bring the Pasikim Kesef to loving?
Because that's not, there's no, in Kesef Talve is the Heichet Timtza that if you make a loan, I mean, it's a reshus to make a loan. It might be a chesed to make a loan, a tzedakah, but it's like tzitzis. You don't have to wear a four-cornered garment. If you don't wear a four-cornered garment, you don't have the mitzvah tzitzis. Im kesef tal v'sami. So if you're going to do a loan, okay, don't charge interest, don't press him. Here, the Torah says, it's a lav. You're going to have in your heart that as the Shemitah comes close and your poor person needs a loan and you're not going to give it to him. So it's a beferish take a lav. So to avoid that, he saw people not loaning. So he was masaka in the pruzbul, that you could collect the loan even after Shemitah. So people continued loaning. This is the lashon of the pruzbul. Mosrani lachem, I give in front of you ploni dayonim, such and such dayonim, shabamokum ploni, shekol chav sheyesh lietz leploni she'egvu kol zman she'ertza. The debt that this person owes me, I should be able to collect at any time. V'adayonim chois min lamata, the dayonim sign oa edim. And we go back to Kenny's issue over the last few days. Umi ikemiti, timido araisa mishamta shvius, v'hiskin hilo de lo mishamta. I don't get it. The Torah says Shemitah wipes away debt. Chachamim step in and say, block a doraisa? That's and override a doraisa? And for the Gemara Rabbi B'Shvitz Bizman Hazev Rebbe. This is the sheet of Rebbe after the destruction of the Churban. The tiny Rebbe over Zedvar Shmita Shamot, Bishtei Shmitos Akos Medaber, Acha Shmitas Karka, Vacha Shmitas Ksofim. One is that any ancestral land that you sold goes back to you. And then there's this din that loans are wiped away. But they are connected. Bisman Shata Meshamed Karka, when the laws apply that you can get your ancestral land back, so Ata Meshamed Ksofim. Bisman Shi'ata Meshamed Karka, which is on our time, after the 10 tribes were taken away, there was no Yovel anymore. And The karka going back is told in Yovel.
But so karka tied to Yovel,
and Shemitah's Ksafim is tied to karka. So since we don't have the din of karka, we don't have the din of.
So why would we need to do a prusbul today?
So the Rabbanon, Tiknu Rabbanon Deshame, Zecher L'Shrius. So after the Churban or after the Yovel was abolished, Chazal didn't want people to forget the din of that Shemitah wipes away loans. So they said that Shemitah wipes away loans midrabanan. So now Ra Hillel Sheninu Amal Ha'ava said that based on that rabbinic decree, people stop lending money. Omar Viskin Prusbul. He was masakin a rabbanon to uproot the other rabbanon.
Would you need to cite something in Eretz Yisrael if you bought land from someone then? Same thing, that the land shouldn't go back? I mean, just like you have the, prusbul for a loan, would you need prusbul for land?
There's no prusbul for land. Prusbul only works for debts that are documented by a shtar. And you are moiser the shtar to Bezdin.
Yeah, but land is only every 50 years. It's a yovel. And
we don't have that anymore. We have no yovel, so there's no.
I understand, but that was the tikkun. The tikkun for Shmishamet Ksofim at that time was also 7 years. Shemitah, right. before that we lost the second base of Mikdash.
Yeah, so people would loan money, let's say in the first year of the Shemitah cycle, and they'd have a 5-year term, and they got to pay back 5 years later because there's no Shemitah. They were smart. They didn't they didn't loan money in the 6th year, but the din is you're supposed to do that because they knew that people would not loan money so that's
yeah, but but the mechanics of a prusbul are a little different. So
no, but Kenny asked, does that exist for land? It doesn't exist for land.
No, it doesn't exist for land because land is 50 years, 49 years.
Okay, but so if you had an ancestral field, you sold it, when 50 years came by, you got it back.
49, you got it back. Correct.
You got it back. It remained in your family.
Okay.
Basically, if it was an ancestral field that was sold, it was a 49-year lease. It was not.
It was a land lease. It was a land lease. People are paid accordingly.
But there were land that were not ancestral, stemikne, that could sell, that went back and forth and was sold in perpetuity. It was only if it was steachuza, something that you inherited.
Right, but the same problem we have regarding lending money, which is people, as the Shemitah year approaches, wouldn't want to take the risk and lend out money, right? So
but that's
the same thing with selling land before the Yovel would arrive.
No, so that's why Walter said it's a 50-year, it's less of a problem.
But 50 years is not that long. So when you're, you want to build a building, you're 5 years before Yovel, you're not going to do it.
It's a whole different ball game. A rich guy is not going to lend a poor guy money because he knows he's not going to get it back. So the poor people, that's why Hillel made the takona. So he made the takona, but the takona works. The mechanics of the takona is basically, I think that the mechanics of the takona of a prusbul is that it works that at the end of the time, right, you got to pay the person back, right?
It works because they were moiser the shtar to Bezdin. Now they are the owners of the shtar. That's how it works.
But it worked because the shtar also said that now it's a matona, because you can't. It's an over deraisa. You can't say that the deraisa is that shmita mishametet. The thing. It's a deraisa. So the mechanics of the deraisa was that the poor guy says, "Okay, I'm giving you a present now. I'm not paying you back the money." That was the knaich of how they got it past the deraisa over here. Because really,
the way they got it past the deraisa, there was no deraisa shmitas ksafim anymore.
No, okay, even the rabbanon afterwards.
Right.
Even the rabbanon afterwards, but you can't You can't be over that. Even though there was no more Shemitah, it's still we still were zoichet to the Shemitah. So we carried on doing that. So people stopped loaning. That's why Hillel did it.
Right?
Hillel was after Hillel was after the second base Mikdash.
Hillel lived while the base of Mikdash was still standing.
Oh, okay. So he was.
No, but Walter, I said the Yovel stopped already when in Bayis Rishon.
Yeah, but Hillel made the takona, so then it's even more. Hillel made the takona during the Doraisa time.
No, I said Yovel stopped already Sancheriv, 702 BCE, before Bayis Rishon was destroyed. Once the 10 tribes were taken away and all of Klal Yisrael didn't live on the land, there was no Yovel anymore.
I hear you. Okay.
Now, it remains interesting. Listen to the kasha the Gemara asks. Umi ikemidi di midoraisa lo misham teshviyas v'takina rabbanan deshami. So now what the Chachamim did is a problem. Mina Torah, there is no Shemitah Ksafim anymore. Come the Chachamim to institute that wipes away loans. How could they do that? So the Gemara gives two answers. Amar Abaya Sheva al Taisahi. So just like, let's remind ourselves, we have a mitzvah of lulav, and the Doraisa, the mitzvah of lulav is only the first day of Sukkot. First day of Sukkot falls on Shabbos. So because of a worry, Shema Yavirenu, maybe you're going to take the lulav in Rishus Harabim to go to a Rebbe to teach you how to do the Nanuim. They made a gzeira that we don't take the lulav. How could they do it? It's a shave al taisa. You're not doing anything actively with your diet. You're sitting at home and not doing the mitzvah.
Yeah, but I think that they used to bring it to Beis Hamikdash and Shabbos. They started throwing at each other. Isn't there a takona like that? That's why they stopped there on Shabbos bringing the lulav.
No, that's something else. That's the esrogim that has to do with Hoshana Rabbah, where they threw the esrogim at somebody. No, by Megillah, by Megillah and by lulav, Shema Yavirenu Dalad Amos B'Shus Harabim. When Purim falls on Shabbos, the same, they told you don't read, and that's only midrabanon. But lulav is midoraisa, the same thing with shofar. Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, we don't blow. Shema Yavirenu Dalad Amos, to teach you how to blow. How can they do it? Shave Val Taisuhu. So here, the love is just sitting on his hands and not paying back. So it's a shave al taisa. Such a thing, the chachamim can misake.
No, but then the star is mevatel. It's not that he's not paying back today. He is exempted from paying back.
But so he sits on his. But it's a non-active. It's a passive action. It's not doing anything. Staying at home. So that chachamim are allowed to institute such a din. Like stay home and don't take the lulav.
No, but their institution is that he pays back. That he has to do something.
No,
it's not like lulav.
No,
Shmita's Ksafim. We're not talking about the takana is you have to pay back.
No, Shmita's Ksafim. Tikinu Rabbanan the Shamed Zeichel Shvius. After the Yovel went away, Chazal made a takana that even though midoraisa, Shemitah doesn't wipe away loans, we're going to make a din that you wipe away loans and people don't have to pay back. That was the takana of the Chachamim. So the Gemara asked, how could they do that? Mina Torah, a guy lent money and should be paid back. And Chazal come and say, don't pay him back. So that was the takana, Kenny. Later on, Hillel made a prusbul that he doesn't have to pay. But the original takana wipes away the lova's responsibility to pay. And that action is a sheva al taisa action. It's a passive action. And that's allowed.
Not a deraisa, the cancellation of loans? That's a takana?
It was when Yovel existed.
Oh, okay.
Once Yovel went away, it doesn't work anymore. Chazal came and instituted Shmitas Ksafim wiping away loans, even though midaraisa didn't exist.
Gotcha.
The Gemara now asks, how do they have the power to do it? So they have the power to do it because it follows the same pattern, Sheval Taisa. That's a baya. Rava Omar, even stronger. Hefker based in Hefker. When it comes to money, we follow the Chachamim. Tomer Rav Yitzchak, Minayin Hefker based in Hefker. If Bezdin declares your assets null and void, they're null and void. Shenemar, in Sefer Ezra, when v'chol asher lo yavo li shloshet hayamim katzat asarim v'azkenim yachram kol rechusho v'hu yibadel mikal hagoyla. Whoever doesn't come for these 3 days, like we have sent out messengers, we are going to take away all of their assets. So when it comes to money, they can do what they want. Rabbi Eliezer Amar that the din of Hefker based in Hefker, it's from a different pasuk. Me'acha. Eila hanachlos asher nachlu Elazar HaKohen v'Yeshua b'nin roshei ha'avos. At the end of Yoshua, it goes through Elazar and Yoshua gave out all the nachlos. Well, what do they mention roshei ha'avos? The chima inyan roishim etzel avos. Loy melcha. Ma avos manchilin l'pneim kol ma sheyirtzu. A father can give to his child anything he wants. Af roishim, the head of the Sanhedrin, the manhigim, the rabbonim, manchilin ha'am kol ma sheyirtzu. They can. That's the koich bezdin. Lafkia rechush, to remove money from him and give it to him. They can do the same thing with Shmitas Ksofim when it comes to loans. Iboilu. Ki iskin hillel pruzbol. L'dore with the sokin, or dilma l'dore almanami sokin. When Hillel made the pruzbol, was it only for his generation, or was it permanently for future generations? Lamai nafkamina. What does it make a difference? Is it too late to get rid of the pruzbol? Yamet l'dari to talk in. If he only made the pruzbul for his own door, so we don't have to keep it. Eliyamet l'dari almanami talking. But if Hillel set it in motion for future, so we won't be able to get rid of it. I ain't based in yachal avatal divrei based in chaver elam ken gadol emenam b'chachma v'minyan. We certainly don't have a bezdin greater than the bezdin of Hillel. So we would not be able to get rid of the institute of pruzbul. So what's the din? Toshma. Domer Shmuel. Lo kasvin pruzbul, ela ibe beidina de surah, ibe beidina de nardo. There were 2 large Torah centers in Bavel, Surah and Nardo, and it's only in that bezdin that you can write a pruzbul. If the takana was forever, so b'shar beidin nami lichtavu, we should be able to write it in any bezdin. Moore says that's not a right. Dilmiki talking Hillel Dildari Alma, when Hillel was masakin a pruzbul forever, he gone beidina diday. He meant a big bezdin, Karavami, Ravasi, Halimi Lav Klimamona, that have the power to extract money from people. But he never, it was going to go to future generations, but not in every small bezdin. So there's no raya to our answer. Toshma. Domer Shmuel, hapruzbula, ulbana de dayonehi. It's sort of like an embarrassment for the judges. If I had the power, I would get rid of it. Now, how could he say avatlina? We have a rule. One bezin cannot uproot the other bezin unless it's greater. Certainly the bezin of Shmuel was not greater than Hillel. How could he think that he could do it? From here it's clear that Shmuel thought that the takon of Hillel was only for his door. And that's why Shmuel, hundreds of years later, decided to get rid of it. Moore says that's not a proof. Hachi kamar. Im iyasher chayil. If I get strong enough, Yoiser mi Hillel avatlinu. I would get rid of it, but he's not. Rav Nachman Amar, the opposite of Shmuel. That if I got stronger, akaimenu, I would keep it. I commend who needs him to keep it. Hamakayim v'koi. Nobody stopped it. Everybody does a crucible. What do we have? Why do we have to be makayim again? So hachi comment. This is how you have to understand what Rav Nachman said. If my strength got better, ema be milsa, I would say something. Sha'afagav shaloi kosuv, kosuv dami. That even if a crucible would not be written in Besdin, we would treat it as if it was written in Besdin. We don't even need the document anymore. But I don't have the koach to do it. Iboilu. Hi Ulbina. This that we said it's an embarrassment. Is it Lishna, the chutzpah? That it was a chutzpah that the Chacham made it crucible? Or Lishna the nichus? No, they were mavatir. They let water flow off their back. Toshma. Sha'amar Ula. Aluva kalosh zinsa bekerev chupasa. When Bnei Israel worshipped the golden calf, so it was like a kala who committed adultery in the middle of her chuppah, because Matan Torah is like our marriage. So here aluva sounds like chutzpah. Amrav Mary Bas Shmuel. Maikra ad shamelch b'mesibo nirdi nasan recho. While the king was in his suda and party, like Hashem was rejoicing with Klai Yisrael Matan Torah, the perfume, the nerdi, the perfume that was on Klai Yisrael, gave off a bad odor because they committed the sin of the Yegel. Yet, even though we committed a chet, we're still beloved. You notice the chsiv nasan recho, v'lo chsiv hisriach. It doesn't say it rotted. It gave off a smell. Kan rabbanon hanelavim ve'enan ovim. People who are insulted, but they don't insult back. Shomin cherposon ve'emin. People say very bad things about them. Ve'ein meshivim, and they take it. Oisim meyava usmechim b'yisurin. Even if they have pains, they accept it as a sign of love from Hashem. Alena kosav oimer ve'oyavav ketseis hashemesh b'gvuraso. And for his beloved, it's like going out in the sun in his glory. Okay, my Lashon Prus Bill, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
By the way, you just finished off with what it said, so I heard a very good word. So it says Reshit Chochma Shtika, that the beginning of Chochma, right? Reshit Chochma, right, is Ishtika. What is that? So just like what we said, you insult somebody. We insulted HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? He didn't say anything. Not only that, what's the Chochma over there? That you still don't hold a grudge against that person, that you love that person. That's the Reshit Chochma. So that's exactly what the Gemara says, like in the end over here of the Gemara.
It's a raya from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How
Right.
he does.
Beautiful.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. So tomorrow there's no tzvika, so we can learn at 8:30.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
Correct?
Great.
Harold?